logged in. But thank you everyone for coming and welcome to using and managing your Google Drive. Okay. This is a very bare bones, get down to the basics of how to access and use Google Drive. Okay. So for those of you who have been struggling with just the basics of it, hopefully you'll be able to know how to manage your drive, how to share documents from your drive, and how to create documents from your drive. Okay. I will give you a heads up if at any time you have a question and you end up unmuting yourself and I don't hear you. There is something wrong with my Zoom. I've reinstalled it. I don't know what it is. But at the beginning of a session, I can hear participants. And then at some point randomly through the presentation, that sometimes disappears. So if you're trying to ask me a question and I'm not responding, please type it in the chat, okay? All righty then. Good afternoon, rather, everyone. I'm going to repeat what I just said. I am Sarah Westhead. I'm a certified Google trainer. Today's session is focusing on the bare basics of how to use and manage Google Drive, right from logging in to literally the basics. Okay. There is something wrong with Zoom on my computer for some strange reason. At the beginning of a session, I can hear people when they speak to me, but sometimes, not always, at some random time in the session, when this happens with students, when they try to speak to me, I can't hear even though they're unmuted. So if you're trying to ask a question and I'm not hearing you because you've unmuted yourself, but I'm still not hearing you, please do just type your question in the chat bar, okay, in the chat box. If you are capable and able, please, I recommend that you have the Zoom open on one side of your desktop and your Google Drive open on the other side so that you can do some of these things with me. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, and your Zoom window has taken up your entire screen, if you hit the escape button on your keyboard, it should shrink back down so that you can then move it around the page and have everything open at the same time. Okay. And I see we still have a few more people logging in. Okay, so yes, if you can have both items open at the same time, you are going to see that I have my entire, if you're on an iPad, unfortunately, it's going to be much harder to switch back and forth. So I recommend that you watch the Zoom session. We are recording it so that you can go back and watch it and follow along as you're doing it, and just take notes. I will hopefully get it uploaded at some point to, I know I'm sharing the videos with the SPG committee, and I can see about uploading them to my YouTube channel so that you can go back and rewatch it as well. Okay, I see we still have people popping in. So for those of you who weren't sure, welcome to using and managing your Google Drive. And as I was saying, if you are able to have both your Drive open and Zoom open at the same time, it's helpful because then you get to do what I'm doing at the same time. Okay. All right, now we are going to get started. So this workshop is designed for people who are beginners. Okay. I know that I have colleagues that are like, what do you mean you want me to upload my lesson plans to the Google Drive? How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to access it? So that is what we are looking at today. To give you a little heads up, I am Sarah Westhead. I am a certified Google trainer and National Geographic educator. I'm the librarian and an English teacher at the Whitney Institute and Encore team leader as well. I apologize in advance if I start going too fast. I am going to do my darndest to go slow. I am a computer geek, raised by a computer geek. We had computers in our house from the 70s. So I am going to go as slowly as I can. Again, if you have a question, pop your hand up, unmute yourself and ask the question. If for some reason I don't hear you, then please type it in the chat bar because there is something wrong with Zoom that happens with my computer for some reason. All right, so let's get started. Our learning intention today is we are learning to access and use Google Drive. And this is going to look like a really long list of success criteria, but they're all very, very simple things. So the first is I can log in to my Google Drive. I can switch between accounts. I can manage folders and documents. I can upload documents 2 ways. I can create new Google documents. I can share Google documents, and I can work offline using Google Chrome. Now that last one, we are probably just going to skim the surface of it. But if you go back and watch the video or you look at the slide presentation, the instructions are all in there. I'm going to share it with you at the end of this session. Okay. Still have people joining us. Awesome. All right. So the first thing is logging in. I've skipped a page. So we're on learning intention number 1, accessing Google Drive. Now you can see on the screen that I am already logged in. That is because if I were to log out, then you wouldn't be able to see my presentation. But the easiest way to access your Google Drive is to open your browser and go to drive.google.com. If you've never logged in before at all, then you're going to enter your school email, which is usually your @moed.bm email, and then your school computer password. Okay, it's the same password that you log into your computer that you use to log in and get your email, and it's going to be the same one for your Google Drive. Okay. If I were to log out, I'd get a message on this account that's going to say, hey, log back in again. And we don't want to lose any of that connectivity. Now, what if you have multiple accounts? Maybe you had your own personal Google account, you had a YouTube account, or you had a Gmail email. Whenever you have one of those accounts, you actually have a Google account, whether you realize it or not. So one of the challenges that you're going to have is switching between Google Drives, switching between accounts. And I'm going to show you this next thing in a second. Go back a slide. You can see I'm plugged into my Bermuda Public Schools account. If you look at the top right corner of the window, you see my little icon, my little photo in the top corner. And we've got 2 people that are popping in. And you'll see Bermuda Public Schools. Cool, great. But maybe I have a second account and I want to log in to my second account. Or maybe I've logged in, I've opened Drive, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not my school Drive. this is my personal drive. I don't see any of my resources. It's super, super easy to switch drives. All you're going to do is you're going to click on that photo of yourself, if that's a photo, or it might be a colored circle with your first initial in it. You simply click on it, and you're going to see all of my other accounts have popped up. Okay. If I've logged in before, I simply click on the one that I want, and it'll open in a new tab. So now I've opened my personal account. Okay. Let's go back and do that. I click on the little circle with my initial, or in my case, it's my photo, and I select the account that I want. It'll open up in a new tab. Now, maybe I've never logged into my other account, or I don't see it there. All you have to do is click add another account, and then follow the prompts. If it's an account that you've used before, you'll see it. If it's an account you've never logged in before, you click use another account, excuse me, and then follow the prompts. You enter your email and then enter the password. So like I said, if you have never logged into your school account, you log in to drive.google.com and your personal account appears. You can easily add another account by clicking add another account. Once you're logged into both, you can switch back and forth by simply clicking on the account you want, and it will open in a new tab. Okay. Any questions there? So we've done most of learning intention number 1 and number 2. Now what I skipped over is when you are in your Google Drive, you can view it in different ways. You can see in the image, I've given you my drive, Google resources for training, because I'm in lots of different folders. If I open more folders, you'll see my drive, old files. This little more words will add to the side of it. Now, if in the top corner there, in that second bar, you'll see this icon. You can change your view. So right now I have grid view. I can see actual images of the documents that I have. If I change it and click at list view, you're going to see that icon is changed to click back to grid view, but now everything is in a list so that you can save it and you can view your drive whichever way is most comfortable for you. I personally like the grid view. I find it easier to find things because it gives me a thumbnail and a preview of what that item is in advance. This way I can make sure I'm clicking the correct item. Done switching accounts. So help, I've gone to Google Drive, I'm logged in, but I don't see my school account. We did that one. Now, sometimes a colleague will share a document with us. They will attach our email to a document. They'll share it directly to us, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the future. But if you get a document, you click on the link, and you get a warning says request access. This is the actual document, so you can see it. But if it says request access and you can't, like I can't access it, why can't I see it? Sometimes your computer will default from one account to the other. So when you're in the document and you see that request access button appear instead of the document, click on that image icon in the top corner. If you then select, say it was sent to your school email, you select your school email and it'll appear. If it was sent to your personal account, you can switch back and forth. It doesn't always work, but it frequently does work. Okay, so if you've been sent a document and you can't open it, click on that link, that little image in the top corner, whether it's your initial or your photo, go to the correct account, and then hopefully it will open. I know that one's a little unclear, but hopefully you'll remember that little trick, and that if when you get a document you can't open, you can just click on it and open it that way. Any questions so far? All right, we're doing good so far. All right, learning intention number 3. So there are 2 ways to create a folder. The first one is, you see this lovely new button. It's a big fat button with a plus on it, a rainbow plus on it. If you click on new, you can then click on folder and it'll create a new folder. Okay, it will create the folder in whatever folder you are currently in. So if I were to create this folder right now, I'm in my drive. Okay, and you're going to see test folder has now appeared. If I want to make sure I'm creating a folder in a specific place where I've already created a folder before, so for example, I want to go into my teaching resources and create a folder, because I've created this old folder before, I can click on that folder and create the folder right in there. If I ever am not sure how to get back to the beginning, I can click on my drive right here or my drive right here on the side, and it'll take me right back to the top of my hierarchy. Okay. The other way to create a folder is simply to use your right click button. So I'm going to right click on the screen, and there that button pops up and I can create a brand new folder. Super, super easy. Okay. Now maybe I've created my folder and I don't like the name of it, or I've created a document and I need to change the name of it. I click on the folder or the document that I need. I then right click and go to rename. And I can change my folder name. Okay. Super, super simple. I can show you this with a document. So here I have my Google Doc right here. I want to rename. I'm single clicking on it. Right click. Go to, the rename with a document needs to be done in the document itself. I apologize. So you can do that with folders. You'll also see that you can add some other information there. You can add a color if you want. You can search within that folder if you want, but we're not going to worry about getting there just yet. Any questions so far? You're all good? Now, maybe I need to move a folder from one space to the next. Okay, so there are 2 ways to do it. I can click on the folder, single click, and then drag and drop it wherever I want it to be. You can see that folder has disappeared. If I go to teaching resources now, where I dragged and dropped it, test folder number 2 is now appearing there. So I can drag and drop it. Obviously, that only works if you are moving that document into a folder that you can see on the screen. If you can't see the folder that you want to move it to in the same window, you're going to click on the document, single click, right click, and click on the Move To icon. Now this window will appear. Now this is one of the hard things about Google Drive. It totally works in the hierarchy method. So you have to go up and then down to put it where you need it to. Okay, so you move the up and the down using those arrows next to each item to place it where you need. So move here. If I did something and I don't want it to stay, I can undo it at any time like that when it's still fresh. Okay, so I'm going to move this back to my drive. I've right clicked, move to, and I'm going to navigate back up to my drive and move it there. Now, if I go to my drive, there's my test folder again. So you do kind of need to know roughly how you've been building your drives. You have to be a little organized that way. It is one of the more difficult things for finding documents and folders. But of course, if you can't find it, you can simply do a search and it'll pull it up. And it'll open that drive or that folder that you've been looking for or that document. So the next thing is uploading folders and documents. Okay, there are two ways to do it. The easiest and fastest way is to open the folder that you want to save your item in. And then I am going to find a document on my desktop. So I have a folder on my desktop. I can take the item I want. Okay, whatever item it is, it can be a PDF, it can be a Microsoft Word doc, it doesn't matter. I simply click the item I want from the folder or the desktop, and I literally drag it into the folder I want. And you can see that it's started to upload. It takes just a second, and the document is now uploaded. Super, super easy. So it's literally drag and drop. Okay. The other way that you can upload either a file or a folder is go to New, our fancy New button. And again, I recommend being in the folder that you want it to be saved to. So go to New, upload file or folder, doesn't matter. I'm going to upload a whole folder this time. This window will pop up. This is from your computer. Yes, you can move more than one doc to a folder at a time. You can just drag and drop multiple, or you can do them one at a time and boom, boom, boom. So here we go. I'm going to my desktop. I'm going to pick a folder that I know doesn't have a lot in it because I have some pretty hefty folders. So this is my son's dive training information. I'm just simply clicking on the document, the whole folder, and upload. 27 files to this site. It's going to ask you, are you sure that's what you want to do? You upload, and you can see it tells you how long it's going to take to upload. It tells you how many items have been uploaded at the time, and it just keeps going. You can do it with a single document as well. So again, you can drag and drop as many items as you want. So I'm going to grab 2 here, or actually I'll grab 3. Literally just drag and drop. And those items start uploading. As easy as that. If you want this window out of the way, you can just simply click the X to close it. Any questions? Cool? All righty then. So how do we create new documents? Super, super easy. Again, if you're in your folder where you want the item to be saved, you're in Drive, you go to your folder, you click New, and you can see all the different types of Google Documents appear. Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides and Forms appear at the top, and any other items that you use will appear under More. Okay, so we hover over the arrow, and then you can select blank document or from a template. And what that does, so we're going to create a new document here. I'm going to take a second to load. My internet's a bit slow today. I did restart my computer before this class, so let's make this test document. Now that I've given it a name, you're going to see it's saving. Now it's saved to Drive. If we look in the test folder, it has magically appeared in the folder. Okay. Now maybe we have created this document and it's in the wrong space. So we open up the document. You're going to see there's this little folder with an arrow in it. If you click on that, you can move it to a new folder. It's going to work just like you do in Google Drive directly. Okay, so we're going to stay in Google. In our test folder, I can move it into Dive Training and move it here. If I look at my Google Drive, you're going to see it's disappeared from the main folder. If I go into Dive Training, test document has appeared right there. You can do this. This little folder with the arrow appears in every Google application that you have, whether you're using slides, whether you're using docs, or you're using sheets. It's the same button in the same spot, no matter what the item is. If that doesn't appear, if you don't see it, it's probably because you haven't given your document a title yet. So you want to make sure you've given your document a title. Best practice. We teach our students. First thing you do when you create your creating a document, you open it, you save, give it a name and save it to the right spot. It's the best thing to do. All right. Now, the other way that you can create new documents is if you're in your Google Drive, you'll see what people call the hash or the waffle. In the top section, it's 9 dots in a grid. If you hover over it, it'll show up as Google Apps. And if you click on that, all of the different Google apps will appear. Okay? Or most of the ones that you use regularly. So you can always click on something. I've clicked on the hash. I'm going to click on slides. And it's going to open a brand new, it's going to open slides so that I can open a new document. Okay. This can be a little confusing for people, so it may be best to just simply go into your folder, click on new, and click on the item that you want. Am I moving too fast for anybody yet? All right. So the next thing is sharing documents and folders. Now let's look at sharing a folder by adding collaborators. Maybe you have a folder that you have a co-teacher and you both need to access that folder at the same time. How can you do that? I'm going to click on my folder. I'm going to right click and I'm going to click the share button. So you'll see it's a little head with a plus next to it. So we're going to click on share. And this window will open. You'll see that here under Get Link, you're going to want to change this. If you click on Change Link to Bermuda Department of Education, that means only people in the Department of Education will be able to see it. If you click it to anyone with the link, that means anybody can see it. I tend to leave it at anyone with the link. And the reason why is, remember when I told you about people sharing documents and they open it, but they can't see it. It's saying it's restricted. So you have to request permission. That's because they've opened it with their personal account instead of their school account. So if you click it with anyone with the link, that'll help with the problem. But we're going to go back up to the top, share with people in groups. Click on that. To share it with a specific person, you simply type their email. So Mr. Dill, since I see you here and I know you, I'm going to click on your name. I can say whether I want to make Mr. Dill the editor, a commenter, or a viewer. Commenter means that they can leave comments on stuff, but they can't change anything. Viewer means they can only see the documents in there. Editor means they can organize, add, and edit the files. So I type in the person's email. I can type in a message. All right, and then I click send. Then if I click send, Mr. Dill would receive an email saying a file has been shared with you. and you can click on the email and get it. I'm going to discard the changes there. Another way is you can do this, you can see you can do this on a document as well. Okay, it pops up on a document as well. The other way you can do it is by getting the link. Okay, so if I right click, I get link, and you're going to see the same window has popped open. I simply copy the link. I want to make sure I've got it set again to viewer, commenter, or editor. I copy the link and I can share it with them. Paste it in an email, paste it in a message, and they will get it. Okay. Now there is a trick that if you want them to force a copy, so you're sharing a document, but you want them to have their own copy of the document so that they can manipulate it, they can change it, or do whatever you need to do. You're going to take the original link, and you'll see in my Google slide here, the original link. It has the last backslash, and then it says edit USP = sharing. So that would be for sharing the document. If I delete that last little bit after the backslash, I delete it and change it to copy, and then share the link with somebody, okay? Then when they open the link, it's going to tell them that they have to make their own copy of the document, okay? So it's a really cool trick so that you can share a document with somebody, but you're not using the exact same document. You can use this in any Google item. You can use it in Google Docs, in Google Slides, in Google Sheets, any of those items, it will work, okay? Any questions? This one's a little bit more tricky, but I like to let people know about it because it can save a lot of trouble down the line. Now, before we get on to working offline, I should have put this in a slide presentation, but I forgot to. Now, maybe I can't find that email. Somebody shared a document or a folder with me, and I can't find that email in my email inbox because, you know, we get dozens of emails every day. It gets buried. We just can't find it. So if we go to our drive and we click on the button shared with me, anything that's been shared with us will appear. Okay, you're going to see a lot of I've got student documents that are appearing because I have students sharing work with me so that they appear. So clicking on that shared with me, and I will be able to see and access anything that's been shared to me from the last week, today, yesterday, last week, last month, etc. Okay. Some other little things that you can see, if you have actual full drives that are shared, those will appear here. So for example, at Whitney, we have a shared drive for our character and social development classes. Stuff's just been stuck in there, so anybody with access to it can see stuff. Our WIMS ELA department, we have documents in there, so it's another way. Now, maybe you've been using something recently and you can't find it. Simply click on the recent, and anything you've accessed recently will appear in that folder. And look, there's my son's miserable face appearing from his dive folder. All right, the last thing is, what is really cool is when you are using Google Chrome for your browser, you can actually still access Google Drive when you are not online, which can be super, super handy when the internet goes out at school or the internet goes out at home, correct? So what you are going to do, we're going to go through this step by step so that you can enable yours yourself. I must say, while you can access Google Drive from any browser, the work offline function only works with Google Chrome. Okay? So the first step is that you need to make sure you are signed in to your Google Chrome. Now, we were looking at the icon in the browser window, but if you look at the top of the Chrome window in the toolbar, there is another little icon sitting right there with my face there. If you're not logged in, you'll just see a blank circle there. If you have been logged in, you'll see your picture or your initial there. So if you click on that little circle next to the little, what people call the snowman, you can then log in to your account, okay? If you've never logged in, you can click on the add and log in. The Google Chrome browser will pop in. You can add your person. You can pick an icon, little cat. Number 2, add. And then you'll log in. You get started. You already a Chrome user, sign in. If you're logging in as your school account, you can just do this already a Chrome user, sign in and log in with your school details. Okay, so you are going to add that in. The other thing that you need to do is go to the Google Chrome Web Store. You can just Google it, Google Chrome Web Store. All right, Google it, click on the button. And you're going to search for this item. It's called Google Docs Offline. Okay. Why is it not opening? I don't know why. Let's click on, I have the link here in the slide presentation, which I'll share with you. Okay, and I'm going to move it to this window. So Google Docs Offline. Now, when you click on this button, you may find that it's already installed. Okay, if you have an updated, recently installed version of Chrome, it's done it automatically for you. If you have an older computer that's not been updated recently, then this will not be added to your Google Chrome. Now there'll be a blue button here. You can see I've got it installed. So it says remove from Chrome for me. If you don't have it installed, this button instead will say add to Chrome. You simply click add that button, and then you will add it to your Google Chrome. There may be a couple of prompts to make sure you're logged into your account, and you add it, and it's adding it to the Chrome browser, okay? So next, step 2, is you want to turn work offline on in your Google Drive. Now at the top, we've got the support, we've got our settings button, which is the little gear icon. I'm going to click on that and click on settings. I'll just give you a second. Okay. And you'll see there's the offline button. Now for me, it's telling me another user is already enabled offline access on this computer. So, because I have multiple accounts, so this is set up for my personal account. If you don't have that set up, you'll just make sure you're logged into the right account and you click that button. So for you, having not done it before, it will look like it does in the slide presentation. So you click the button next to create, open, and edit your recent Google Docs, Sheets, and slide files on this device while offline. Once you've got that clicked, you click done. And I'm going to go to my personal account so you can see what it looks like. My internet slowed down something fierce today. Come on. It's not happy with me. Oh, it's still thinking. You can see the little blue circle going around on the tab to tell me it's thinking about it. There we go. All right, so then again, checking offline sync status, please wait because my internet is so slow. Oh, there it is, it's appeared. So you can see the button turned on. So again, this is not something that you want to do on a computer that you're sharing with the public, okay? It's one thing if you're doing it on a computer that you're sharing with your spouse, but you want to keep it to your personal computer. So once that's clicked, you're going to click done. And then backup protection. So what you can do, if you have a specific document that you want to make sure is available offline, single click, right click, and it's not going to show it up. Let me pull this one back up. My apologies. Because you can only have one account set up for offline use. All right. So I single click on the document. It's thinking about it again. You see that little blue icon spinning in the top. It's thinking about what it wants to do because my internet is so slow today. All right, so I click on it, I right click on it, and you can set it for make available offline. For some reason, that button is just not showing up today. There we go. Available offline. If you toggle that to on, so you can see it's now blue, so that you'll make sure that you can see it is available offline. Okay. If you're not sure what is available offline, this little tick that's here, if you click on it, turn on the offline preview, and you'll be able to see only what is available offline is vivid. Everything else is kind of faded out so that you can only access those things. Now, what I recommend for some people is if you know you're going to have problems with accessing documents at school because of internet not working very well or whatever, I like to open stuff on my laptop before I leave so that when I get to the place, I definitely have no problems with opening that document and working with it offline. Okay, so for example, maybe you have a slide presentation that you really need for a class, so you want to make sure that it's available. Open it on your laptop while you have access to the internet, so it's there. And then when you are working in class or in your workshop or whatever you're doing, it is still there. You'll still be able to flip through it. And even if you make changes, it will save it. And then when you connect to the internet the next time, it will automatically update your document in the drive, in the Google Drive. Okay. So we just looked at that, which items are available for offline by using the little tick mark box. All right, so for more help with working offline in Google, I'm going to share this document with you in a few minutes. But there is a video here in the presentation, so you can go back and watch it to review how to do this, especially if you were not able to do it live while we were working. Okay, and it likes to do that. Here we go. All righty then. So I am going to stop sharing real quick. And if anybody has any questions, now is the time. And I can try and answer your questions for you. If you don't, I have a few links to share with you. Okay. You will see in the chat box, there are 4 links. The first one is a link to the slide presentation, which has all the instructions in it that we just went through. The second link is a feedback form that goes directly to me. As a Google trainer, I'm required to get feedback on workshops that I give. Of course, the SBG committee also likes to get an do an evaluation form. So the last link is so that you can do an evaluation on this workshop for you. And then of course, the third link is the attendance link so that you can put in your attendance for today for this workshop. Does anybody have any questions? Now, hopefully I've met your needs that for those of you who are struggling with using and navigating and accessing Google Drive, you can do that now. I have a flash drive that I carry around with me. And in the past, if I didn't have my flash drive, I was completely lost for the day. If I left that flash drive on my desk at home, I was stuffed because everything I needed for my classes was on that drive. What is brilliant about Google Google Drive is that no matter where I am, if I've got internet access, I can access the things that I need. I can do my work, my lessons, I can print from school without having to worry about that little flash drive. I still carry my flash drive on it because I have a couple of years worth of information on it. It's my backup in case I need something or I need to find something, I can find it in there. So that is the benefit of using the Google Cloud, the Google Drive, so you can save stuff anywhere. If you have a phone, you can download the apps onto your phone. So I'm going to hold up my screen. I have my Google folder with all my apps. I have Drive, I have Translate, Sheets, Slides, Meet, etc. Once you leave MOAD, will your documents be available? What they need to be done is you need to have them transferred to your personal account. So if you're leaving, then that can be done. The best way, there is a few different ways to do it. One is sharing it to yourself and making it the other person, the owner. But there are apps that you can add to Google Chrome to do that. If and when the time comes, the best thing is probably to reach out to somebody to help you with that. I can help you with that. And probably the best person is actually, oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart. What's Phil's last name?
Trot.
Phil Trott, thank you. Thank you. I'm seeing his face, but not his last name. He used to teach my oldest way back in the day because he manages the Google accounts for the Ministry of Education. He can work with you to get stuff transferred to your personal account if you're leaving as well. One of the things that's a benefit about keeping everything in your ministry account is it has unlimited storage space. Whereas if you're using a personal account, you only have, I think, 15 gigabytes of storage space. Any other questions? If you're trying to ask verbally and I'm not hearing you, just pop your question in the chat room, in the chat bar.
Can you move stuff from your personal Google to your work?
Yes, you can. I find the easiest way to do that is to share it to yourself. Okay, so share it to yourself. That's what I do. You may have seen one or two folders that had a little arrow in it. And that's because they were folders that had been shared to somebody. So that like before we had the Ministry of Education, Google for Education, I was entirely using my personal stuff. So I had all these documents in my personal folder. So what I just did is I shared it to myself in my school account so that I can go back and forth and access it no matter what account I'm in. All right, I'm also giving you guys both of my emails, okay? So that if you have any questions or you're having any trouble, you can feel free to drop me an email either on my school email or my personal email, okay? I also have a website. I don't have any workshops planned for the near future, but I am looking at doing some more in the down the line. So you can always check out my website. One of the things that I'm looking at doing, if you click on the website, you'll see there's a boot camp. That one got canceled due to family circumstances, but I'm looking to do another one in the future. There is also a Facebook group. Let me get the direct link for that. I closed a lot of windows on my computer because my computer was so slow earlier. So let me get the direct link for this Facebook group. It is Google Educator Group Bermuda, and it's where you can ask questions, and I share links and updates from Google directly so that you can get more information. If I do workshops, I post them there as well. It is not my Facebook group. It is a Google Facebook group that I manage. So if you want to join that group, feel free, so that you can always ask questions there. And either I will answer or somebody else in the group can answer the questions. If you've come across something really cool and interesting that you want to share, you can share it there as well. It's a great little online personal learning network. All righty then. Well, if nobody has any more questions, feel free to log off now, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a great afternoon, guys. Get some stretching in from sitting at the computer all day. That's okay, Miss Karaya, I understand. You probably definitely need to get your computer set up for offline use. Thanks, Miss Warren Swan. Miss Henry, if you need help, feel free to email me and we can schedule something and we can walk through some stuff. All right, just send me an email. You too, Miss Warren Swan.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Miss Smith. I like to stay on in case somebody wants to ask a question once people have left. So feel free to log yourself off.
Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah.
I can't find your number on. I really don't. I just came to the bathroom. I can't find your number, PD.
It's under 11, I think. I have those windows closed at the moment.
Let me see again.
I think it's under 11. Let me check the attendance link.
I have to turn it.
Um,
That's probably why I can't see the whole thing.
Probably.
Number 11D, managing your Google Drive.
Yep, that's it. That'll be it.
Yeah, I had to turn my phone so that I can see
You can
the
show up.
whole.
Not a problem.
Thanks so much, Sarah.
You're welcome. Hopefully you're a master at navigating now,
I
right?
hope so.
Have a
I'm
great
gonna just make
day.
sure I do my attendance and everything now.
No worries. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Like I said, feel free to drop me an email. And if you have any questions down the line, or if you need some one-on-one, I can do that, schedule some time to do that with you.
I feel like I'm redundant doing all these Google Doc forms.
I know. And unfortunately, I would have been happy to have shared my data from my personal feedback form.
Right.
But obviously it's a standard.
I
with the
know.
SDG, they always do it. So.
I totally get it. Totally get
But
it.
in case anybody asks at Google, I have to have the evidence there. So it's the easiest way to do it. Because yeah, as a certified trainer, I'm required to give a minimum of 12 workshops per year.
Yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. I'm going to end the session now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.